If you're an actor, photographer, content creator, graphic designer, or any other freelancer that has income that changes month to month, this video is for you. You can be as creative as you want, but if you really want to excel as a freelancer, you gotta be a business person whether you like it or not. Here are 5 beginner financial tips that I think every creative needs to know. Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a musical theater performer, photographer, content creator, and just overall freelance creative girly. We will be talking about money. Money. I have been weirdly passionate about finances since I was around 17 to 18 years old. Definitely has to do with the fact that my mom is a financial advisor. That definitely was a little unfair advantage that I had. I grew up with financial literacy. I'm almost 24 now, and I'm about to hit my first big financial milestone that younger 17-year-old me genuinely would not have thought was possible. And I'm not saying any of this because I'm some financial advisor. I am literally just a girl. This video is definitely based on my personal experience and what has worked for me. But I kid you not, every time one of my friends asks me a finance question, I become so passionate because I genuinely think creatives are taught to perfect their craft. They're taught to follow your instincts and all of this woo-woo stuff that is great if you're in the arts, but they teach you nothing about financial literacy. I got my BFA in acting and we had one finance class that was at the end of my senior year, and then I ended up taking another finance class just because I wanted to, and I wanted to learn. That specific class was how to run a theater. I was invested, literally.
This first tip is about W-2s and 1099s. So if you don't live in the US, this doesn't apply to you. So feel free to skip ahead.
Tip number 1, you really need to know the difference between being a W-2 employee and being 1099. 1099 means that you are an independent contractor, and W-2 means that you are hired by an employer. Because let's be honest, as a creative, you will probably be at these 2 points in your career at some point. I definitely have in 1 year. When you are a W-2 employee, your taxes are withheld from your paycheck. Depending on the state that you worked in, your earnings history, how your job ended, all of these requirements could potentially allow you to be eligible for unemployment. And unemployment is amazing for the periods of time where you're out of work. And this could be extremely helpful for performers specifically because our jobs are very often contract-based. You work for several months, the show closes, you're out of a job, and then if you don't have your survival job and other streams of income, you could be unemployed before your next job starts or while you're auditioning. I will say employment rules vary in every single state. Most states will look at why you're unemployed, or how much you made within those 2 quarters, whether you're available for work, and other factors. Specifically, there are some states that I'm thinking of that are a lot harder than others, so it completely depends on what state you're being paid out of. So definitely look at the exact requirements of where you live and what state you're being paid out of. The downside of W-2 employment, however, is that most employees generally cannot deduct their reimbursed work expenses on their federal tax return.
What the hell? Addendum, I meant unreimbursed.
With 1099 income, however, you are essentially operating as a self-employed business. Here's the part that will get you taxes aren't automatically withheld, so you will need to set that money aside yourself, but you may be able to deduct legitimate business expenses that are ordinary and necessary for your work. For me, these 1099 write-offs could potentially be software, photography equipment, voice lessons, dance lessons, master classes, a tripod, camera, website costs, business insurance, or other fees related to the businesses that I'm operating. But it's also important to note that the word business automatically isn't a tax write-off. It needs to have a real and documented business purpose. A voice lesson, for example, you could definitely qualify that as a business expense because it is maintaining a skill that is necessary for the work that you're doing. Tax situations are definitely individual for everyone, so talk to your tax professional and what you could potentially write off. Personally, I like having a combination of W-2 and 1099 income. I've been W-2 contracts for a while in a row. I did a tour, I did a cruise, about to do another W-2 contract coming soon. That definitely gives me structure and stability. And then my freelance work, which is my 1099 work, gives me more control over my income and my legitimate business expenses. You should definitely understand what each of these means before you're surprised at tax time, because taxes are hard, but they are important. What? No taxation without representation, am I right? They're important and you kind of need to do them or someone is going to come after you and repo your fridge like The Sims 3. And that is a perfect segue into tip number 2. You should have multiple streams of income. And I know everyone on YouTube is saying that, but you should. You definitely should. As a creator, you cannot control when someone hires you, casts you, books you. This is why I think it is best to have multiple streams of income that you can control. And when one is working and the other one is, in a little bit of a lull, you at least have one, right? For me, performing is one, photography is one, and content creation is one. And this absolutely does not mean that you need 7 side hustles. I actually would advise against that because that is a perfect way to burn the out. But yeah, no, it doesn't mean can I monetize every single second of my life? It more just means what skills do I have that are valuable to other people and how can I monetize this? If you're a performer, maybe you teach voice lessons, create content, do work events, teach dance. What skills within performing can you monetize? Content creation can specifically be helpful because your actual creative journey becomes something that other people want to watch as well. A video like "Come with me to my voice lesson" can be something that other people want to watch and be on the journey with you. I do feel like everyone and their mother is trying to do content creation, me included. Me literally holding a mic attached to a fork, speaking to a camera. But over time, this content leads to ad revenue. It leads to a complete other stream of income, clients, affiliate partnerships, and opportunities that you never would have been able to access otherwise. Just because you post your entire life does not make your entire life deductible. It just means that you're building a real business around your skills, your knowledge, and experiences. I think my bigger point with all of this is don't let a casting director, don't let a publisher, don't let client, employer control 100% of your ability to make money. If there's a will, there's a way. Tip number 3, pay yourself first. This is one of my absolute favorite financial quotes. Do not save what is left after spending, spend what is left after saving. This just it scratches my brain. For a perfect example, I was on tour and I would get paid per week, W-2, the taxes were taken out of it. I saw how much I made. The first thing that I immediately do per week, however you get paid, is you're going to do the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your income goes to your needs, 30% goes to your wants, 20% goes to your savings. Because I was on the road and I wasn't paying rent, that's such a unique part of tour. I had a lot more left over after paying my credit card bill, which I always pay per week. The rest of the 50% would just go into my savings. And I was pretty frugal on tour and I still continue to be a little bit frugal chic. Love that phrase. I just wanted to save aggressively when I was on that tour, and that's exactly what I did. Hence why I'm about to hit this big financial goal. My point is, you don't have to follow these percentages perfectly. A lot of people who are on W-2 income are not on tour and they do have to pay rent, mostly in expensive cities. These percentages may not be realistic every single month because you don't have a salary. You are making income based on gigs. For creatives, I think the percentages are really helpful when you make more than you expected. If you have a great month creating, don't treat that extra money as spending money. Automatically move it to one of these percentages to help hit goals. If you're earning 1099 income, those taxes aren't taken out, so you definitely have to set aside some money for when tax season happens out of that income. That money is not yours to spend, baby girl. It is not. I highly, highly recommend having a separate account for taxes. That way, when tax season happens, you're not jump scared and have to just pull at straws. Is that the saying? I don't know. And if you do have a credit card as a creative, you definitely need to be staying on top of your credit card bills because that piles on fast as frick. Credit cards can be extremely useful, but they have very high interest. So if you're just letting it sit, accruing interest, and you lose money essentially, and it can cancel out a lot of the progress on your saving and investing. Pay attention to what you spend, pay your bills on time, automate as much as possible. Your system absolutely does not need to be complicated. It just needs to be consistent. And the systems that I put into place personally is paying my credit card every single week. And every time I get some money, doing the 50, 30, 20. Tip number 4. Oh my God, I will scream this to the rooftop. Sorry, her name's Diva Cup. She's a great elbow support for me, if you can already tell. Do not let your cash sit around earning nothing. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. The amount of people that I talk to, they just have like money sitting around in a bank account. Baby girl, you're losing money. You're losing out on the opportunity to make money from your money. Long-term savings, even short-term savings, you need to look at other options. Look into high-yield savings accounts. Even better, a money market. It allows your cash to earn money on interest while you're not using it. I don't have a high yield savings account. I no longer have a high yield savings account. That was like a high school thing. I have a brokerage account. And within my brokerage account, I buy into what is called the money market. I have my account with Charles Schwab. It's called like a money market fund, and you can often purchase it or hold it inside a brokerage account. The exact yield completely determined on interest rates. So it's not minus 4.5%. It's not going to be 4.5% forever. That fluctuates. It may have even changed by the time that you watch this video. And I will say a money market fund is an investment product. It is not the same thing as like insured bank savings. It is generally considered low risk, but you do need to know where your money is being held if you choose to go the money market route. But essentially, this is where I keep money that I would need now. If all of this scares you, I can make a separate video on this later. Like, the money market is not where I'm going to be trying to aggressively save for the money that I'm going to be taking out 30 to 40 years from now. And just a reminder that transferring money into a brokerage account does not automatically mean that you're buying into the money market. You normally have to like understand where that cash is going and what exactly to buy into. And I can make a breakdown on exactly my portfolio and like within my brokerage account. In my brokerage account, I have like 4 different accounts. All of them have money in the money market except my Roth IRA. I actually choose to invest in Vanguard funds. This is a beginner finance video, so I will go into more of it later. Even my like emergency fund is in a money market. I'm not letting my cash sit around, not make money off of itself. That would be a waste of time, and time is money. I always say that. Which is the perfect segue into tip number 5. Please, oh my God, for the love of gosh, please start investing before you feel ready. There is no perfect time to do anything. The best time to start is now. It is now. Maybe the best time to start was 10 years ago, but you know what the second best time to start is? Meow. I think that this is a Warren Buffett quote. You can buy anything, but you cannot buy more time. When it comes to investing, the most important thing is time, because your investments have the potential to compound and increase in value over time. You do not need to be rich to start. You do not need to know what every stock is. I definitely do not know what every stock is. And you definitely do not wait until you have to have $1,000. Your 50, 30, 20, to go back to it, 20% of savings could literally look like $5 a week. But it's the intention that matters. It is not the amount of money that matters. It is, I'm going to be investing in my future. I'm only going to be putting $5 a week. And then who knows, maybe next month, $5 turns into $10, $10 turns into $20, and then $30, and then you're saving $100 per month, $100 per week, depending on when you get paid. I personally started at 17 in a high yield savings account. I wasn't stock picking at this time. I don't even think that I like own stocks. I was just saving money. My favorite things to invest in these days are broad-based, diversified ETFs, because one fund can give you exposure to a lot of different companies instead of relying on the performance of a single stock. ETFs could potentially increase in value. I mean, I would hope it would. And they also may distribute dividends, but at the end of the day, they are investments. Their value can go down, their value can go up. Returns are never guaranteed, and this should not be money that you need next month. So like, do not tap into your emergency fund. I also think as a beginner on your finance journey, as a creative, I personally have a Roth IRA. It's a retirement account fund that I opened like 2 years ago, and it's funded with money that you've already paid taxes on. If you meet the rules, your investments can grow and can be withdrawn, generally tax-free when it's time. That's like retirement age. One mistake beginners make when opening a Roth IRA, they just put the money in the account and just let it sit there. This was definitely me for like a month. Someone told me, girl, what are you doing? But yeah, they put the money in and they think they're finished. No, the Roth IRA is still an account, and you normally still need to have like a chosen investment. This you can do ETFs and you can pick your stocks, but that to me is a little high maintenance. This is what I invest invest in. Vanguard Target Retirement Fund. This to me is super easy. You just buy into it once or however many times that you transfer money into it, and it's managed and picked for you. And just letting you know that there are annual contribution limits and some qualifications that you need to look at before you can open a Roth IRA. So definitely make sure to check the rules, but you definitely do not need to wait until you can contribute to the max amount in this account. Starting with $20, $50, or $100 per week, bi-weekly, per month is definitely still starting somewhere. The amount matters, but the habit and the time arguably matter way more. So yeah, these are 5 beginner financial tips for the creative. Just to recap, understand how you're being paid, create more than one income stream, pay yourself first, put your cash somewhere intentional, and start investing as early as you reasonably can. Dear Lord, please, thanking you. Your future self will thank you. To be honest, like, investing has become such a habit for me that I stopped thinking about it every single week. It is just something that I do. And then when I do check my account, I'm like, thank you, 17-year-old Sarah, who woke up one day and number 1, chose to start a photography business for her future, and 2, start investing. If you're 17 and watching this, lock in, girl. But if you're 24 or older than me, lock in, because it's also never too late to start. Being a creative does not mean that you have to accept the fact that you're going to be financially unstable forever, because that is definitely not true. You can build a career that you absolutely love and continue saving and investing, and also create a life where you don't have to say yes to every single job just because you need the money. In my personal opinion, financial stability gives you way more creative freedom. It gives you the opportunity to leave a bad situation, wait for the right opportunity, which is such a luxury, take a risk, and invest in your own work. And if you guys want, I can definitely make a video breaking down these individual topics, like exactly what to invest in, how I budget with inconsistent income, and how I organize my W-2 and 1099 income as a creative. Comment below and tell me which you would like next. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to follow along with my creative girl diaries and just following along with my life as a full-time creative. I'm Sarah, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!